Hello and welcome back to Memory Sports TV. Today another video about the Arena of Memory, which will take place in 4 days from now on Memory Sports TV on Twitch. And this match will happen between Alex Mullen, 28 years old, 3 times World Memory Champion from the US, and Andrea Muzii, 20 years old, 1-time World Memory Champion and a top rising star. And the match is very special because Andrea has played a lot of matches lately and has fantastic scores. And Alex is competing since a couple of years, 7 years, something like that. But he has not competed for a while. And the fantastic results of Andrea forced me to set up this match between these two. And today it's all about how this match will work and how the scoring will be done. So stay tuned and I will guide you through the process. So this is the Memory League website, www.memoryleague.com. Here on this website you can train. It's a great site for training, created by Simon Orton, who is the programmer behind the site. So thank you, Simon, for letting me use Memory League to bring memory sports closer to the audience. So how is this going to work? So if you haven't heard anything about memory competitions, then you're in the right spot here. I will explain it from the basics, but I will not explain how they memorize stuff. So you might be a little bit surprised about the amount what these two can memorize, but this video is all about the scoring for the big match Arena of Memory on Saturday, August 15, 3 p.m. GMT. On Memory League we have 6 disciplines. There's cards, images, international names, words, numbers and national names. Actually every discipline works quite similar, but the material, what you have to memorize, is different. Let's click on cards. Just going to show you how that looks like. So cards, and then I would click start. In a competition you wouldn't memorize by your own, you would have an opponent who will memorize simultaneously with you here. And then you have 1 minute to memorize all these cards. This is a deck of 52 cards and you can memorize it as fast as you can. You can use the whole minute, or you can also just stop the time at any point when you think you are confident to have memorized all the cards. For example, I can stop here. I didn't memorize anything right now, but a time like 25 seconds, 24 seconds is a great time, but it's not an excellent time anymore because these two, Alex and Andrea, are able to memorize a deck of cards under 15 seconds. Sounds ridiculous, but it's possible. So after you have memorized the deck of cards, you will go directly to the recall, and then the competitors have time to search for their card, click it, and then it goes in the first spot, second spot, and so on. So not the time to memorize anything here. I click finish. I made everything wrong here because I didn't memorize everything. So that would be a score of 0. In a competition it looks like that, and I will go to the main page here because some people have already played the games of cards. Let's click on this game here. 1 game of cards. There, Naoki Miwa was playing Christian Yu, and they both had to memorize the deck of cards, 52 cards, and Christian Yu did it in 1967 seconds and got everything correct, score 52. So obviously he wins that game because of his faster time. But it's very important to understand that score beats time. If your score is better than your opponent's, it doesn't matter what time you have. Yeah, for example, this one. In this example, these two competitors played also cards. Mayanganbaya memorized a deck of cards in 25.44 seconds, but just get 43. Avash memorized a deck of cards in 47 seconds with 45 cards. So as you can see, this time is it's more than 20 seconds better, but the score is better. So it's all about the score, and score before time. That's important. Let's take a look on some other disciplines here. I would go for numbers. For example, this example here, these two competitors memorized 80 digits as fast as they can. And as you can see, here's a time of 39 seconds and a time of 52 seconds. And the score here is better, 78 correct, 58 here on this side. So this competitor wins the game. Yeah, and I'm searching for another game here, and this is an interesting one here. Take a look at this. This is a discipline images. So again, they have 1 minute to memorize, and the amount of images they have to memorize is 30. And they have to memorize the right sequence here. And after that, they have to recall the sequence. And if you look at this result here, that's very interesting because Eugene did a better time, 19.60, than Andre here, because this time was 19.81. Andre won with a score of 30, even if its time was a bit slower here. And the crucial thing is that Andre, if he would have gone for 60 seconds, so if he would have taken all his time, then he would have won this game anyway. So the time actually doesn't matter for him in this case, because the score is better than this score. Score before time, that's the thing here. And then we have 3 other disciplines. This is international names. In this, you have to memorize 30 international names, which are quite complicated, very hard spelling, most of them, and national names, which are more easy, like in English, James, June, something like that. And in words, you have to memorize 50 words as fast as you can, and always the correct order is important. Let's take a look on a words game here. For example, this one, they had to memorize 50 words as fast as they can. You see, everyone has his own or her own language, and everyone has his or her own language. You can choose that. In the end, you need to put in everything 100% correct. For example, this here looks very close, but it's a different word, even if I cannot read it, so no point for that. And you need to put all the words in the right spot. So in this case, Christian won 43 to 42 because of having one more word. If Christian would have also just 42, like Koba here, then Koba would have won because his time would count then. Score first. If the score is a draw, then the time counts. Like you see it in, again in this match, same score, time counts, and that's it. So these are the possible games they can play. And they play on Saturday, they play sets. Best of 3 sets, and in each set they choose a discipline. Let's say Alex would start, he would choose the first discipline, then Andrea chooses the next one, and so on. The question is who decides first, and for that we flip a coin. So let's say Alex wins the coin flip, and so Alex goes first, and he would have the chance to choose first from all the 6 disciplines. So let's say Alex chooses cards. Cards is chosen. You see this little blue button here, that means Alex chooses first, and then they play cards, and the winner gets a point. So let's assume Alex wins cards, he gets a point, leading 1-0 then. So then Andrea can also choose from all the 6 disciplines here. Let's say he chooses images, and we put images here, and he wins maybe images, then it's 1-1. Now the situation changed a bit because Alex cannot choose cards again. He can only choose from the other 5 disciplines here. And that's very important to know, because you cannot choose the same discipline again. Let's say Alex chooses international names here, international names. Then he would choose it, and maybe he also win it again. Then he would lead 2-1. Now let's say Andrea can't choose images anymore, but all the other 5 disciplines. And let's say Andrea chooses words. Let's say he chooses words, and yeah, let's make it a close match for 2-2, because Andrea also wins words here. So now you go back to Alex. Alex has the next choice. He cannot choose cards, he cannot choose international names, and that's special rule here, he cannot choose names anymore. This is why a participant, a competitor, can only choose one names discipline. So it's not possible to choose names and international names in the same set. That's not possible. You can only choose from images, numbers, and words. And let's say he chooses numbers, and this case maybe Andrea wins the numbers. So Andrea would lead 3-2. And now he had the great chance because now he can choose and he is leading. The set ends if one player reaches 4 points and leads by 2 games. Andrea cannot choose words, he cannot choose images. So images and words are done, but he still choose international names, numbers, names, and cards. And let's say he goes with names, plays names, and then he might win names. And in this situation, Andrea won the set because he's leading 4-2 and has a lead of 2 clear games. Okay, so you need 4 points and you need to lead by at least 2 clear games. Say Andrea didn't win the names discipline, but Alex win it. So then it's 3-3. And then we would go back to Alex. Alex would have the next choice. And now what is? He cannot choose numbers, he cannot choose international names, and he cannot choose cards. And that means he can only choose images or words. Let's say he chooses words. Let's say he wins the words. And now he has 4 points already. But the thing is, he cannot win the match. He doesn't win the set right now. There's no lead of 2 games here because it's just 4-3. And we have the situation that Alex had the possibility to choose 4 times and Andrea only 3 times. And that wouldn't be fair. So at this point, Alex hasn't won the set. Andrea can't choose names, words, and images. So he is left with cards and numbers. And let's say he chooses numbers. And in this, we have the same situation. If Alex right now wins, he wins the set because he has at least 4 points. He has 5 right now and is leading by 2 clear games. And on the other hand, if we are here at 4-4, then they would play on. And there's also another special rule. After 8 games, all the choices are set back to 0. So from this point on, they can choose every discipline. So your choices are set back to. And Alex would be able to choose cards again. He can choose from every discipline, right? And that might take a while because you need 2 games lead. But because of we are playing 3 sets and it could take forever, we have tiebreaker for the first set and the second set. And here is how the tiebreaker works. At a score of 6-6. So if the score is 6-6 for the first set and the second set, there is no need to lead by 2 clear games anymore. So let's say we have 6-6 and they have to play a tiebreaker. Then the competitor who has chosen the first discipline in this set chooses again another discipline. In this tiebreaker, both opponents have 2 vetoes. So let's say Alex is choosing cards, but Andrea doesn't want to play cards, so he puts a veto on that and now can choose by his own another discipline, obviously not cards anymore. So let's say then Andrea chooses images and but Alex doesn't want to play images because he knows that he has maybe a slight disadvantage in images, so he puts a veto on images. Then it's again Alex to choose, and let's say he chooses international names right now, but Andrea again vetoes, but he has no vetoes left because he already used both vetoes here. Now Andrea can choose again, and he now has a choice between names, numbers, and words. He can choose all of the 3 disciplines. But he has to be aware that Alex still has a veto left. So let's say he chooses names, what he can do, then Alex has a chance to veto that and to choose between numbers and words, because these two are left then. And there's again a special rule about names. Let's say Andrea chooses numbers right now, and Alex puts a veto on that. Then Alex cannot choose names anymore because he has chosen a names discipline already, and he cannot choose a names discipline twice. Well, it's a bit tricky, but in the end, they will agree on one discipline, and they play one last game, and whoever wins this game wins a set 7-6. To summarize the scoring, to win a set, you need to lead by 2 games and have at least 4 points, like in this case, and Andrea would win 4-2. It's also possible to, let's say, a set can also land like 5-3, and also possible would be 6-4. That would be also possible. If they are up to 6-6 in the first and the second set, then they play a tiebreaker like I described it before. There's one exception from all this, always exceptions, but it can happen. Let's say, go back here to 0, and let's say Alex leads by 1-0 again, Andrea maybe chooses words, and now they draw on words. For example, both have exactly 60 seconds using all the time and have exactly the same score. So let's say they both memorize 49 words in exactly 60 seconds, then it's a draw. The game is a draw. In this case, each player gets 0.5 points. And this is important to know, because let's say they play on, Alex chooses numbers, wins numbers, Andrea chooses names, wins names, then Alex chooses words and wins words, and Andrea chooses, let's say, images and wins images, and then maybe Alex chooses, let's say, names. He can also choose names here, and then Alex chooses names, and maybe Andrea wins it here. Then we have this situation, 3.5 to 3.5. In this situation, they had played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games already. Sum it up here and you have 7 games. And now it's Andrea's choice. Alex has already chosen 4 disciplines and Andrea only 3. So as soon as Andrea chooses the next discipline, it's fair because both have chosen 4 disciplines then. Let's say Andrea chooses, what can he choose? No images, no names, no words. Then let's say he chooses numbers. And maybe Alex wins the numbers. Then he wins the set. Even there's just a 1 gap lead because they both had the same number of choices, 8 choices in overall, and that would be the only possibility to enter set 4.5 to 3.5 without having a 2 games lead. A bit complicated, but in that way it's really fair for everyone. And now what about the third set? In the third set we decided to not play any tiebreaker here. So that means a competitor has to lead by 2 clear games. So a possible result could look like that: 5-3, 6-7, and 10-8, and then case Alex would win. And if you have any questions, put your questions in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all there Saturday, August 15, 3 p.m. GMT. Thank you very much, and keep on memorizing.